Many of us have trouble understanding what our spirit guides, the universe, or our higher self wants to tell us. There is a lot of complaining around the way the universe delivers its messages, always talking in riddles. The reason why it feels like Spirit is always speaking in riddles is because we don't know ourselves. We don't know our own system. We don't know our own symbols. We need to remember Spirit speaks the language of the soul, not the language of the mind. But it uses the mind as a translator. That's why we need to have a connection and understanding between the essence and the consciousness that we are and the information that the brain stores. We already speak soul because we are a soul. We are energy. The spirit guides our highest self, the universe. They speak in vibration, not in words. They speak in frequencies, in symbolism. The human race is expert in symbolism. We put it everywhere, in art, in the movies, in the books we read. Symbols are everywhere. But to understand the messages your spirit guides are trying to give you, you need to know your symbols. Interestingly, though, the same symbol might mean different things to different people depending on that person's background. Let's take tarot, for example. I like tarot because tarot cards are full of symbolism. Depending on which tarot you are using, you can find numerology, astrology, chakra systems, colors, Kabbalah symbols, alchemy symbols. You can find so many of those things and association within a single tarot card. So for this example, I am going to use the Lover's card from the Nicoletta Secoli tarot. I hope I am pronouncing that last name properly. It's an Italian last name. Because I was raised as a Catholic, even though I no longer recognize myself as one and I do not practice the religion, I was in a Catholic school until high school. Catholic stories were programmed in my brain. So the first thing that came to mind when I saw this card was the story of the Garden of Eden, because of the tree, the apples, and the snake. Instead of associating the symbols in the card with perfect union, harmony, love, and attraction, or finding balance within oneself, which are the common meanings found within this card, because of the symbolism in it and my personal association and background as a former Catholic familiar with the story of the Garden of Eden, my mind took the symbols to mean sin, betrayal, envy, jealousy, which are the things I associate with the devil. A person with a different background might see the tree and the apples and associate them with abundance, might see the snake and think about rebirth, might see the girl and think of a ballerina. There are so many ways to interpret this card, and every single interpretation will be correct. Because your interpretation will depend on your background and the associations you have created throughout your life. Now, this is just one example when it comes to tarot. But the same applies to any other method we might use to receive messages from the universe. We might get these messages through stories in a movie, through the books we read, through the animals that cross our path, through the feathers we find on the street, or angel numbers. So if you want to understand the messages your spirit guides send you, you need to develop a relationship with yourself. You need to get to know you, because your spirit guides, the universe, your higher self, they speak your language. And with that, I don't mean the English language or Spanish, Japanese, Russian, German, Italian. Because the spirit doesn't speak through words. It speaks through frequency and vibration and energy. Symbols carry vibration and frequencies. That's why the answers to our questions come through symbols. We think that if they were to speak to us directly, more straightforward with words, we will understand the message more clearly. I am telling you it's a lie, because I've received those type of messages with words, and I still don't follow them. You might think I am the only one ignoring Spirit's messages, but you will be surprised of how many people receive answers to their questions straight into their inbox and still they ignore it. That's because it's not about receiving the message, it's about trust. And many of us, we don't trust. If we don't trust in ourselves, how do we expect to trust something outside ourselves? If an angel were to appear in front of you, you might think you are dreaming. If a person might come to you in the street and tell you, hey, I am the Messiah incarnate, you might think this person is crazy and don't welcome the message this person has to give you. That's why very few times the messages come straight. But if you were to know you, if you were to develop a connection and a conversation with yourself, with the energy, the consciousness, the intelligence that lives inside your body, it will be much easier to understand the symbols around you. Because the system your spirit guides, your consciousness, the universe use also include your emotions. Sometimes it might also include your gut feeling. And here it's important to note that gut feelings are very different from intuition. But still, they are a guiding system of sorts. If you were connected to your body, and aware at the same time of this connection, if you were to live in the present moment, it would be so easy to know when you are receiving a message, when you are being led towards a certain direction or asked to avoid certain situations, people, places. Because through your body, you will receive the information you need to navigate any experience. Intuition uses the senses to communicate with you. One thing we fail to understand is that the world of spirit is not separate from the human world. They are intertwined one with the other. They are just different expressions of the same energy. And after receiving the sign, what you need to do is follow it so that you can validate the feeling that you got. As you validate and as you trust, then your trust develops more. Your confidence on these signs and messages and instincts develop. And so your spirit guides can send you more accurate messages more frequently. But if you don't know yourself, if you don't trust your instincts, if you don't trust your inner guidance, your wisdom, how can you trust anything else? Remember, spirit is not talking to the mind. It's not addressing the human brain. The spirit is talking to spirit, to the energy that is inside your body, that vibrates at the same frequency and speaks the same language the universe does. So to more easily understand those messages, you need to remember how to speak spirit. The good news is you can remember that language that you already have, that is inside of you. You can learn to pay attention. You can develop the awareness necessary to be able to understand those messages. Better news even, if you want me to show you how, drop me an email. I have an online training that can help you remember, that can help you connect with your inner guidance, that can help you identify your intuition type, that can help you get to know your spirit guides. Because not all of us receive messages in the same way. It can help you identify the symbolism and develop the language, the special characters that you need so that you can communicate back with the spirit, with the universe, with your guides. It will also help you to identify the frequency, the vibration of those guides, and make sure that when you communicate with energy, you ensure you are communicating with the right type of energy. There are lots of different frequencies, beings, vibrations, energies, and they all want to be heard. And sometimes the moment you open the channel, the moment you open the communication, those other beings that do not like to follow rules, that don't readily respect boundaries, they want to come in and communicate with you and disguise themselves as spirit guides when they are not. That's why it is important we also learn to differentiate frequencies. How does this frequency feel compared to this one? What's my frequency? What's the other person's frequency? And etc., etc., etc. So if you want to learn a method that will teach you how to develop, how to understand your own system, I won't give you my system. I will show you how to use your system, the system you already have, how to switch it on, so that you can learn more about it, more about yourself, and develop your own way to talk to spirit. And so that you can identify the ways in which spirit, the universe, your guides, your higher self is already communicating with you. We're not going to create anything new, though sometimes it might feel like that. We're going to work with what we already have, with what you already have, so that the whole process becomes much easier. So if you are ready, drop me a line.